All right, well, welcome to Behind Them Sticks. This is your boy Ham Solo. I am with the MechaRecca today. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, Ham. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty darn good. So, please introduce yourself a little bit. Tell who happened to be listening to a little bit about yourself. What social media platforms and what gaming platforms are you on? Or do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm part of the Great Game Debate. We are a podcast and a Discord group. You can check us out on Twitter at Great Game DEB, the number 8. Great Game Deb 8.
Yeah, I like that the way you guys named that too. I was like, what is that? And then I was like, oh, debate. Got it.
Yeah. And, we started out as just kind of a during the pandemic, at the start of the pandemic, we're looking for more places to talk about games, a little less toxic place to talk about games sometimes.
Yes.
So me and a few friends ended up starting this Discord group, and it's kind of steadily grown. We have a good group of people there. We just like talking about games, movies, general nerd stuff, and then we do some other stuff over there. We have a monthly game club where we all play a game together as a group. Well, everybody plays it separately, and then we come together as a group to talk about it on the Discord. And then from there, we kind of expanded out, and about a year ago, we started a podcast. So we have the Great Game Debate podcast. It comes out every other week on Mondays, and it's just a nice, easygoing podcast where we have fun. We talk mostly about games. We're not so much into like covering industry news and that kind of thing. We're just kind of there for a good time. We actually have game debates where we debate silly things like who would win in a fight, Kefka versus Luca Blight from Suikoden in 2, or what's a worse game, Anthem or Knack, or or even stuff as serious as like PlayStation versus Xbox, where we're like kind of not seriously fanning the console wars, flames.
You're fanning them a little bit. But I tell you what, it's all in good fun.
It is in good fun.
Because you got to have a little bit of thick skin if you want to be a gamer, especially using something like Twitter or something like that. You got to have a little thick skin, but at the same time.
It is all good fun because we all play on every platform and we all just love video games. So anyway, that's the Great Game Debate. That's kind of where I'm also on Twitter at MechaRecca. I'm on there way too much, but I just like talking about games with people and hanging out and having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Now, I actually wanted to show a quick clip. I believe the game that you guys were playing was called 20 Questions, and you guys were
video game 20 Questions.
Yeah, right. Video game 20 Questions, and I just thought like the way that the ending on this specific one, it just was absolutely hilarious because pretty much nobody had any idea until the end. Am I right?
Yes.
And then and then they started sniffing close to it. But then question mark, right?
Question mark. Yeah, you might have to listen to the podcast to know what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Let's actually go to that real quick.
Final question.
Should we ask if the lead has a signature weapon?
What was it?
If the lead has a signature weapon, should we ask that?
Maybe.
Well, he said, would it be a Final Fantasy?
Is that your question?
I was asking them if they wanted to.
What were you gonna say, Jonah?
He said it kind of has, real, the current day weapons, right? So.
Right.
Or guns. So would it be a Final Fantasy? Because they kind of have that.
No, because those are developed
what
by
about
Japanese.
That Remedy game?
Control.
Control on Switch, is it?
God.
Yeah, it is.
Is that the Switch version of that game?
Yes, you can stream it to your Switch.
Oh my lord!
And the
That's
guns are
probably
kind
it.
of like guns.
That's
Sometimes.
gotta be it.
But okay, so the signature weapon isn't it's like an artifact, right?
Yeah, it's called the.
Oh, you do get a
it's got
gun.
name.
Yeah, it is a gun. It's
It's got a specific name.
The
It's
level's
called
constantly shifting.
Yeah,
so we can ask
you
the-
level up, you buy perks.
Yeah, you do.
I think that's it, guys.
Oh my
Man.
god.
I feel like
I
it's
saw a
so
vision.
Jaden, send it home. Send it
I
home.
just didn't know.
Do we have one more question?
We have
Yes.
one more question.
Because I can ask a question that will determine if it's control or not.
Do
sure.
it, my friend. Send it home.
Is it control?
He's like, hey, hey, just tell me.
Does the main character in this game talk to themselves?
Yes. 20 questions.
All right.
Your
you
guess
wanna-
is?
Who
Is
did
it
the
control?
honors justice?
Is it control?
Oh, never mind.
Let's do control. I'm down for
Control.
that.
Everyone hold each other's hands. Is it control?
Is it control?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so that scene was absolutely awesome. I loved it, and I just wanted to share that with my viewers so they could check that out. Now, you were telling me that you guys are doing 20 questions a little differently. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's kind of a running game. We always include a game on the show kind of to close things out. And we usually do 20 questions kind of like every other episode or so. And then kind of in between, I'll try to come up with something like a little bit more original. Like a music trivia game or trivia specifically kind of like more tailored to our guest or something like that. But yeah, the 20 questions, it was kind of running long, so we decided to kind of change it to more of like a speed round version. So now the participants only have 20 seconds in between every question, and they have to go in order. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and then back 1, 2, 3. And so if they don't ask a question within 20 seconds, they lose the opportunity to ask that question, and the next person has to ask the question. So it puts a little bit more stress and a little bit more pressure on the panel, but it also makes it a little bit more hectic and a little bit more fun.
Absolutely,
And,
because you're on the clock. That's nerve-wracking.
Exactly, and it keeps it flowing. And we found that actually it makes it a little bit more fun.
Yeah,
fun that way. Yeah,
it's hilarious watching people squirm, right?
yeah, and they do, and they do.
That's awesome. So do you guys do
Thankfully,
that?
I'm on the other end. I'm always on the other end, like as the game, the gamekeeper. So I'm always the one watching the squirming.
Yeah, you're the one
Not a
blowing the
bad place
whistle.
to be. Yeah.
That's awesome. So is that on every episode kind of thing, or is it just
We
every once in a
yeah
while, or?
we do a game every episode, and then 20 questions is usually every second or third episode. It's a good one to throw back in, just because of as a regular in the roster.
Awesome. Very good. All right, so let's get into a few questions from the man, the myth, the closet. All right.
I'm here in my closet.
It sounds fantastic. I mean, I can hear you perfect right now.
Yeah, it's great for audio quality, let me tell you. There's
Yeah.
no echo. No, I live in a very tiny, small house, and so the only space that I have to actually do any recording is in my small closet. So if you ever tune in and check out the show, you'll always see the man in the closet, me, sitting in my closet with all my clothes around me and recording my podcast.
I feel you. It's the same thing right here. It's like, welcome to my front kitchen. like this is how I'm living right now.
At least you can stretch out. You got that space. I'm kind of like.
It's
a good thing I'm not claustrophobic. That's all I'll say.
For sure. Well, you're doing a good job, man. You definitely are a fun person to watch, and I can't wait to see some more content, especially on those 20 games. I didn't get to see that on the last episode. I had to cut off a little short, but I'm definitely excited to see some more of those kind of games that you guys play in your content. Everyone loves a good game, and that right there, I'm excited to watch some people squirm.
I think they do. I don't think that people play enough games on podcasts. I think it's really fun, especially video game related games. If you're interested in gaming at all, I mean, you want to kind of test your knowledge, and so it's always I think it makes for a more engaging show.
Yeah, absolutely. Not everybody is always looking for encyclopedia or Webster dictionary answers. People just want to have something to listen to or something to watch that's fun, but you can kind of learn while laughing at the same time. And not only are you learning about the game, but you're learning somebody else's perspective and just a different way to look at it. And that's always helpful with growing up or just being a person in general, is just learning how to see stuff in other people through other people's eyes. It's a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
For yourself and for them, because then they get to feel like they're expressing themselves and stuff like that. So that's dope.
Yep. Audience engagement. It's the name of the game. It's a great game debate.
Absolutely. There you go. Plug. All right.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
all right. So how would you describe your content? So, because we just talked about one specific subject in your content, but how would you describe it all if you were to just like spit it out?
Like friendly, light, airy, conversational, and just good fun, really. Like I said, it's supposed to be like more of an entertaining show than it is to be like, we're not there to like give you this week's news. We are just there to talk about games and have a good time. And that's really kind of what we've tailored our show around. We add in the debates. They're all very silly and very short form. In one of our debates, like I mentioned before, we were talking about RPG villains, and one of the people in the debate had never played the games before. He wasn't familiar with the characters, so he ended up critiquing the characters on their looks and like how romanceable they would be based on their looks, Wow. And so, that's the kind of quality content you're gonna get when you check into the Great Game Debate.
Like, I don't know, but she's gorgeous.
Yeah. So, no, we just try to keep it light and airy and have a good time. That's really what we're shooting for.
Good stuff. All right, so now here's a little bit of a question that you kind of got to be on your feet about. I do this with every episode that I have. And you may have heard it on one of the last episodes if you watched any of my previous content, but without overthinking, what is the first game that comes to your mind when I say the console?
Okay.
Get it. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
All right. Perfect.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down here.
All right. So, let's see. Let me ask you before I jump into this, because I don't want to reach in too far. What's the first console you've ever played?
NES. No.
NES.
That's not true. I played Atari 2600 before NES, just at like friends, my parents' friends' house and stuff like that.
Okay.
But not like seriously. Like seriously, when I like sat down and like seriously applied myself to games, it was the NES.
Okay. So I got quite the bag to reach in.
Yes. I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I am very old, and so I played a lot of consoles.
Well, it'd be the same thing if you said it the other way around, bro. I mean, I'm not like elderly by any means, but I am in my 30s. I'm not too old, not too young, just kind of here for a good time, I guess. But anyways, back to the subject. NES.
Little Nemo, the Dream Master.
Whoa, reaching. Nice, that's an awesome start. So, let's see. Dreamcast.
Ooh, Crazy Taxi.
Ooh, very good one. PlayStation 3.
Infamous.
Okay. Panasonic 3DO.
Oh God, I didn't play that. You got me on that one. I absolutely have not played a 3DO.
All right, different
so
one.
I can't.
Sega Saturn? Or Sega CD?
Symphony of the Night was on Saturn.
Okay, cool. PS5.
PS5. it should come faster. It should come faster than this. Miles Morales, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I was gonna say Astro's Playroom. That's what I really wanted to jump on. That was the first PS5 game I played.
Okay.
Immediately, like start that thing up, ride an Astro. I want to test out that DualSense.
Dude, and it was so good.
Oh, it was.
I thought the blowing part was a little weird, but
yeah, I didn't love that specifically, but that was like, if that's the low point of that game, I mean,
right.
I mean, come on, it was like chef's kiss. Otherwise,
I absolutely love the part where you could use the like, I think it was like a spaceship or something like that, and you had to control both of your triggers at the same time to level out so you don't turn too much either way.
Yeah,
love that part. I thought that because just the fight with it was fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that whole space stage. Honestly, I like the whole thing. There wasn't really much of that game I didn't like.
For sure, understandable. So Xbox 360,
Xbox 3, Witcher 2.
Witcher 2. Okay, all right. Original PlayStation.
Metal Gear Solid.
PS2.
Okami.
Jeez Louise, you're reaching in there. You're not saying anything that I expected, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. All right, so Xbox Series X.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Super Nintendo.
Oh, Secret of Mana. You know what? I should have said Chrono Trigger because, well, all of my favorite games. The SNES is my favorite console ever of all time.
Okay.
So Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy VI is my favorite game of all time. I don't know why I said Secret. Secret of Mana holds a special place in my heart though too. It's a really, I think, under-recognized.
The only thing I snarl at when it comes to the SNES is the green blood.
Yeah, the blood,
yeah, I was just like, when I first played that, I thought the game was like broken or something like that. I was
there was a code for that, you know. Turn it on.
I didn't know that. I was just playing and I was doing the uppercut and I was just like, hey, Liu Kang is green.
It's a little bit of letdown. It's like, yeah, it's like, why is he sweating so much when I punch him?
I felt like, because I mean, I was a youngster back in those times. I felt like I was playing like Nintendo, or not Nintendo, but Nickelodeon Guts or something like that.
Yeah.
where just slime was everywhere.
You're like, I just ripped this guy's skeleton out of his body. Like, why? Like,
why is it slime time?
Why is a green sludge coming out?
Yeah, super weird. It looked toxic, man. It looked very toxic. It looked like the stuff that reptile spits, essentially, just leaking everywhere. It was really weird. But anyways,
everybody's reptile.
Yeah, everybody loved Reptile. That and Smoke. Smoke was super dope back in the day. And Noob Saibot.
Mm-hmm.
I loved playing with him because he could go invisible. Oh wait, no,
Yeah.
that's Smoke. Or were they both able to? I don't remember exactly.
I don't know. You know, my history with Mortal Kombat ended at 2, so.
Okay, fair enough.
I haven't kept up very well with the series, although I hear that the stories in the new ones are fantastic. So.
Yeah. All right. So let's actually jump on to another topic. I feel like you nailed that last subject. That was really cool. Hopefully that was kind of fun, being able to relive some of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of those, I'm like, wait a minute. I played that game, but man, it's been a while. I don't know why that came to the surface so easily. But no, that was so super fun.
All right. Cool. All right. So this is kind of going the other direction. Not so positive, but it's not like horrible or anything like that. What gaming genre do you just like not playing it? Doesn't matter what game it is. I'm not playing this genre. Mine, mine, for instance, is turn-based. I just, for some reason, I can't handle watching people do the battle for me after I chose what to do. That's just not for me.
I'm not much of a, to be honest, I'm not much of an online multiplayer type guy. So I think like esports games, like MOBAs, just really aren't up my alley at all. So I'd probably say MOBA is something I would probably not ever really be interested in trying. MMO might be another one, although I have tried to get into MMOs before, but I'm never been really successful with it. I kind of feel like I need somebody really kind of there, kind of helping me along, because there's so much to learn. Like some people like grew up with playing MMOs, and so it's kind of second nature to them when they jump in. But I never had that experience, so
very grindy, very grindy.
Yeah, I really love the Final Fantasy series, and so I've really been kind of wanting to get into 14 because I hear that has one of the best stories in the whole, in the whole series. And I tried, and it was just kind of like too much for me. I'm like, why do I need like 17 hotbars? I don't get it.
Yeah, so one of my favorite games is probably a game you would never touch then.
Okay.
And that is Ark Survival Evolved.
Oh yeah, okay.
Have you ever played that, or is that
I've never played it. I'm familiar with it. That's you ride dinosaurs and stuff, right? Or
you ride, tame dinosaurs, make your own house. I mean, it's like a Minecraft with dinosaurs, and everything looks somewhat pretty much realistic to an extent. And I mean, once you start to, I mean, obviously they didn't have saddles and stuff like that for raptors, stuff like that. But I mean, like
Dinotopia the game.
There you go. So yeah, that's one of my favorite games. But I just thought I'd throw it out there and wonder if you ever heard of it or played it or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's very popular. I understand. So yeah, I don't know that I will ever play it. It's not really up my alley, but
fair enough. Yeah.
No, it looks cool.
It's a pretty niche game. Like not a lot of people.
Any game with dinosaurs, like that's always a plus to me. So
yeah, it doesn't hurt, especially when you're. I feel like a person doesn't mind playing that game when they can hop into somebody else's tribe and just get a bunch of stuff and go to war with them real quick. I think anybody would be down to do that. But like when you say, "Hey, man, here's the video game. Now go make all this stuff," they're like, "I ain't got time for this, man." I mean that's what it is, because if you play official on it, it takes like it took me 16 hours to tame one of the dinosaurs once.
Whoa, are you serious? 16 hours?
Yes. And
Holy
it wasn't
Lord,
even
what kind of dinosaur was it?
It wasn't even the strongest dinosaur in the game. It was an Allosaurus, bro. And it was because I was fairly new to the game and I was using a certain type of meat to feed it, to tame it. Yeah. And I mean, I was so fresh to the game, I didn't know. I just was like, sweet, I knocked out a massive dinosaur. I'm gonna try to tame it. This is awesome. I put some like meat on there, like hurry up, put something on there before he wakes up, and feed him narcotics to keep him knocked out. And then I looked and then I looked it up, like, how long does this take to tame? And it said 16 hours with the type of meat that I was using. And I was like, no way. I was off of work though, and I was already like that was my game already, so I did it. So you
tame dinosaurs by feeding them meat, and then like depending on the type of meat you feed them, it like takes more or less time, or there's more. They have like they're more like acclimated to certain types of meat to make them more
meat or berries or concoctions of a sort, or like by concoction I mean like their specific kind of food. Like you say like a horse, you think hay, you know what I'm saying? Hay is something that they will always eat, and they love that stuff. So that is the kind of like stuff you're looking for. You're looking to craft a certain meal for them to eat, and if you craft a whole bunch of them, you can tame it faster and faster and faster. But I was using low quality. Because I was just a stain on the earth, and I didn't know what I was doing. And it was like
Allosaurus bologna.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. It is exactly what it was. And it took me 16 hours. And like I said, I didn't know any better. And when I looked it up to see that I needed the other kind of meat, I was just like, I don't know where to get this, because I was just that early into the game. But I just loved it so much that I stuck it out for 16 hours, bro, and tamed this one dinosaur,
that's pretty awesome.
Which ended up dying fairly soon after I tamed it. Yeah, it was a sad time, but then I started getting taught by other people on the server how to play the game properly. They're just like, dude, we see you struggling, and that is ridiculous. So,
oh, that's cool that you know, people kind of took you under their wing. And
that's gaming, man.
Taught you
Family.
the ropes.
That's
awesome.
Gaming. So we have figured out that you don't like it was MOBAs and MMOs, correct?
Yeah, and I wouldn't even necessarily say I don't like them. I don't have a big affiliation for them, and like
okay.
I don't have like any like general distaste. They just don't seem like something I'd really be interested in. They seem like really, really complicated and just not something that, you know, is in my wheelhouse necessarily. So, but I do have the utmost respect for people that do like to play those kinds of games, because I do
dedication,
understand. Man. Yeah, dedication, and it's you know, especially with like MMOs, like people just play an MMO for thousands of hours, right? And my general interests lie more in trying like as many kind of like diverse experiences as I can. So when I finish something, I'm kind of like ready to move on usually, and a lot of people like to replay games like, oh, what's your favorite game to replay? What's your comfort game? Et cetera, et cetera. Da, 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 da. I don't have a comfort game. I don't go back to stuff very regularly. I have kind of all-time favorites, but I actually rarely ever go back and replay anything, because I always just kind of thirsty for the next thing, and I want to try this new thing that came out that's supposed to be really good, or that has this really cool new mechanic that's not in anything else, and just kind of like really see what's out there, you know?
See, I'm starting to trend more in your direction, and it is costing me money. But but at the same time, like, it's way more exciting than what I was doing previously, because like I have a ridiculous amount of time in the game like Rocket League. I have a crazy amount of time in Borderlands, like 30 or 40 days or something like that, and I have over 120 days in Ark. Like, that's how dedicated I was getting on some of these games.
I have a severe respect for people that are that dedicated to one game, but like I just can't do it personally. I can't stick with it like that.
Like I'm trending to the point where I can't, because like I got these new consoles and I got like my computer set up and everything like that, and I was just like, dude, like I cannot just play the same game from last generation. I can't just keep playing the same stuff. So that's when I was just like, I'm dropping everything. I'm getting new different games. I went out and got a Switch, PS5, Oculus, and just like I was like, I'm diversifying myself and immersing myself completely into it, instead of playing more Ark that I know I could easily re-addict myself into, or Rocket League that my cousin plays every night and always is sending me like requests, hey man, let's play some Rocket League. It's like, dude, like I look at him now and I'm just like, dude, I don't know how you play that every night, but I think back and I'm like, dude, that used to be me. Actually, I used to be that guy that played that every night.
Well, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, gaming is what you want it to be, I think. So,
yes, true,
you know,
that.
if that's really what brings you joy, if that's what, to use a Marie Kondo, you know, if that's what sparks joy, you know, then absolutely that's what you should do. You know, play what you want to play, when you want to play it, how you want to play it. If you're not interested, I have a really good friend, and he is super into like his current repertoire of gaming is he's really into Halo, so he loves to replay Halo, and then he's into like Sea of Thieves, and he's into No Man's Sky. And that's kind of like what he plays.
No Man's Sky is a pretty technical game too, man.
Yeah,
like,
and
you have to put together that stuff like in sequence, or else like you're just running around doing a bunch of nothing.
Yeah, and he follows, you know, he follows kind of like everything else that comes along, and he's always like, oh, that looks really cool. I would love to try that someday, but right now, this is what I'm playing, and I'm like, mad respect, man.
Yeah.
You know, I absolutely think that's awesome that you know what you love, and you play what you love.
Yeah, I know where I can find you.
You don't have to feel the compulsion to go out and play every new thing, because the zeitgeist is tough sometimes. You know.
That's why I was saying it's costing me money. Like, like that transition, like they each have their benefits, man. Like playing the same game, like immersing yourself into it and loving it. That's what I did with Ark, Borderlands 2 and 3, and Rocket League and football games back when I was a youngster playing on the original PlayStation. Like I played the crap out of that back when we had like 989 Sports and Midway Presents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love those kind of games, but like now I just feel like a little bit of a different person, so I'm just changing my style up and I'm liking it, man. I'm realizing how many games that I thought I didn't like that I actually do like. Like for instance, I said I don't really like turn-based games that much, but I've played a few turn-based games recently where I was just like, I'm actually surprised that this is good, or this is really freaking funny, or something like that. Like some of these comedy games, I just played one of them. I don't remember it right off the top of my head, but it was kind of grotesque. But it was hilarious. But you have to be okay with dark humor, or else it's just really uncomfortable game to look at.
I'd be curious to know what that game is. If you remember as we go along, let me know.
Here, let me pull it up real quick. Okay, yeah, it's the Procession to Calvary. That is the game that I just got done with and whatnot, and that game
It's a new
is
one by me. Yeah. I haven't heard of it.
If you want to watch the trailer, just know that if your kids are around, you shouldn't be watching it.
I guarantee you, I try not to watch game trailers with my kids around because my daughter is like glued to the screen. You never know kind of what you're gonna see in a trailer unless it's like bug snacks or something,
Yeah, for sure.
And even then.
But yeah, this game is like really dark humor, and I could see how somebody could play that game and kind of get offended, especially in the world that we live in now. So yeah, if you want to check that out, check it out. I mean, it's not The Last of Us 2, like what the hell, but but it's definitely like just like a different take on dark humor and gaming.
Okay.
Sure.
No, thanks for throwing that on my radar. I'll have to check out a trailer or something.
I believe it is available as well on PS5. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yep. But anyways, moving on. What is the best 3 games this year for you personally? And then out of those 3 games, what is the game of the year?
Okay. My top 3 games this year are Metroid Dread.
Okay. That's
Psychonauts.
pretty fresh.
Yep. Psychonauts 2.
Okay. Super
And
dope.
and another little thing called It Takes Two.
Ooh, yes. Me and my lady beat that game. So good.
Yeah.
Story was fantastic, but please continue.
And my game of the year, It Takes Two.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, that was so long ago too when that game came out.
Yeah. When did it drop? It was back in March or April.
I think it was.
Like
I think it was. I think it was March. I want to say March, but you might be right with April. I'm not exactly sure. But when that game came out, that whole being able to play with somebody else just like you could with A Way Out was just really cool to me.
Yeah, I mean that's I think part of what makes it such a special experience. I can see playing with your significant other would probably make it even more fun. I played it with a buddy of mine. He got the game, and then we ended up doing it through he was like, hey, I'm looking for a partner for this. Do you want to do this with me? Because you can use the buddy pass with the game. So only one person has to buy the game, and then the other person can basically play for free. So we played the whole thing together, and I just played with his game.
Love you, Hazelite.
Yeah, and
so cool.
I was absolutely blown away just by the sheer creativity. And the thing about that game is you see it and you're like, this looks super corny and super dumb. But,
yes.
But the gameplay is so varied and so interesting, and they just keep changing the experience. Like every 15 to 20 minutes you're doing something different. You pick up a new weapon,
you're shooting with something else, or climbing through something weird.
Yeah, or there's a perspective shift, and all of a sudden, instead of playing a a 3D platformer, you're playing a 2D platformer, or you're playing like a you know, an isometric you know, Diablo light or something like that, you know. And it's just a really, really cool game. It's really imaginative, really colorful, and fun. It's a fun game to play, and I love playing the mini games in that game too. You have the head-to-heads.
Yeah, very competitive. I like that baseball one that you like. You each have to like hit it back and forth, and the more it rotates around, the more points the other person gets.
Yeah, there's like 20 plus mini games, and they're all just like 1v1.
Yep.
So most of the game you're like doing jolly co-op with your partner or your friends, and then you have these little, you know, let's take a knee and play this versus game real quick and kind of go at it a couple of rounds and see who comes out on top. And yeah, I just really, really love that game. It was a really big surprise. I love it when games surprise me, like when I go in with low expectations and they just blow them out of the water.
Yeah. That's how it was for me with A Way Out, which is another Hazelight game.
I haven't played A Way Out yet, but
it was, and like I highly recommend playing it, especially if you thought It Takes Two was fun. This is more of like a dark, like, you know, like a dark take on two players, and you know, I don't know. I don't want to say too much because I just want you just to get into that yourself, like, and maybe grab another person. Hell, like even I'll play it with you, but like you just have to. Like I'd rather you play it with somebody that didn't play it before, so you can get that authentic feeling from them as well.
Yeah,
because me playing it with you, or you playing it with somebody that's already beat that game, they're just kind of sitting back while you're like, dude, what's going on? And the other person's just like, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, I already know this part.
Yeah, exactly. It's not near as fun. But for sure, that's those are three really good games, and I love It Takes Two. Like I said, me and the lady beat it. Fantastic game. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So good call on that one.
Nice. Thanks.
Now this is a little different. Oh yeah, and I'd like to say one other thing about It Takes Two. Hey, EA, take some notes from Hazelight, man, because there's a lot of games on EA that I feel like are pretty good, but like Hazelight knocked it out of the park. And what is it? Didn't Mass Effect just get redone for?
Yeah, the Legendary Edition
from BioWare, right?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, keep your eyes on those two pieces of EA right there, because they're knocking it out of the park. Absolutely loved it.
I think, you know, a lot of people like to give EA crap, and probably deservedly so.
For sports games, for sure, dude. It's rough.
Yeah, there are some sleazy practices going on there. But I will say, I feel like they've put out some pretty solid games in the last couple of years. You know, we talked about It Takes Two. We've talked about Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I really, really, really loved Jedi Fallen Order when that came out.
Yes, I forgot all about that game.
Jedi Fallen Order, actually pretty much everything that Respawn's put out has been really solid. Apex Legends, really solid. Also, Titanfall 2, gem of a game. If you have not played Titanfall 2,
yes. Oh my goodness.
Short and sweet, but man, that campaign's like 6 hours. It's all killer, no filler. Absolutely.
Dude, that part where you change back and forth from like the two different worlds.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That part is kind of freaky, man, because you're getting attacked by those monsters, and they're not weak, man. They're pretty tough.
You're like, nope, peace out.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going
out.
right back to the other area real quick, and I'm gonna go to this other room down here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But yeah, man. Yeah, I feel the exact same way about Ubisoft or Ubisoft or however people want to hear that word. But they get a lot of grief. But like, I really liked Far Cry. I really liked Immortals: Phoenix Rising. Riders Republic is looking really cool.
Riders Republic is looking cool. Yeah.
The thing that throws me off, the reason that they get talked about so much is because they're doing crazy stuff like talking about BR and stuff like that. And not a lot of people want to hear about that. And if you're a BR fan, that's cool. But like, people don't like watching other people do the same thing as somebody else. It just gets kind of boring to watch.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think they do garner a little bit of criticism for kind of the formulaic nature of their games, right? I mean, everything is an open world. Everything has towers to climb. It's like, we have to shove as much onto this map as we possibly can, and half of it is just droll nonsense.
That's what I felt about Valhalla. I was just like, because I got it for PS5, and I was just like, was looking around, and I was just like, I gotta do that much stuff.
Yeah,
like there's a lot
really...
of other games coming out. Like I really, like, I mean, I get it. Like I said, I put a lot of time into a game, but like when I'm trying to try new games constantly, like that's not a game you want to have in the middle of everything.
You want something that respects. You want something that respects your time a little bit, for sure. And that game, I don't think does. I haven't played Valhalla yet, but I played the last two. I played Odyssey and Origins, and I spent 80 hours in both of those games.
Yep.
Finished them, and I saw, I think, 45% of the map in one of the games, and like 55% of the map in the other. After 80 hours. And I only saw about half the map in both games. It's just like, what?
Cringe, man.
Why? Why does it have to be this big? Like let's make tighter.
Why don't you just tighten it up and make more quality,
more meaningful experiences?
Yeah.
And they're good games. I'm not gonna say like sit here and tell you like that game was garbage. No, it's a solid experience, and I enjoyed playing it. But man, it's just like too much.
Yeah, it's cut this map in half and make these bushes move or something.
You could bump up that meta score by a full point. Maybe if you just like trimmed it down, trim some of the fat.
Yeah, you got people getting sweaty playing those games, man. Keeping an inhaler nearby. At least me, I got asthma, so that's my thing, man. I gotta keep an inhaler nearby. Not so much for video games, but that game right there is very sweaty.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, so moving on. I don't believe I asked you this yet. What is your favorite studio, and what is your favorite game from said studio?
Oh man, this is kind of a tough one because I think if I say Capcom, does that count? Because Capcom is really a publisher, but they have a lot of studios, but nobody ever really talks about like
it's like Bandai,
the different studios within Capcom, right?
Yeah, it's like so Rockstar, Bandai. I mean,
is that
yeah?
So
you
is
can
that
use
a fair
that
answer,
for sure,
like
because somebody else on here
studio?
would say Rockstar, and it's like, which one are you talking about? North, Toronto?
Right.
Like, I mean, yeah, just say which one you think in your game.
I think Capcom, for sure, because I love so many of their franchises. I love Resident Evil and Devil May Cry, and I love Monster Hunter, and I think they have so much good stuff, and they've come, they went into such a lull for so long, and they've just brought it back like nobody's business, in the last three years or so.
Yeah. Devil May Cry was one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games. It was amazing. I just remember using my sword and knocking them up, and then be like bam, 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 bam. Like that was so cool to be able to do in a game at that time.
My favorite Capcom studio is defunct now, and is technically actually Platinum Games. Technically now, it was Clover. It was Studio Clover. They made Okami and Beautiful Joe and some of those other
I remember
awesome games on PlayStation 2. And now they basically like transitioned, and now they're Platinum. So I guess technically I could say Platinum's my favorite studio, but I do love a lot of Platinum games, but I don't love them as much as the Capcom franchises specifically.
Okay, so did you select a specific game in that? Because you talked about a lot of stuff.
Okami.
Okay.
Is my favorite, probably my favorite Capcom game of all.
Why is that?
I just love it. I love the aesthetics. It's so beautiful and super zen and chill. You're this, sun god transformed into a wolf. Everywhere you run, flowers bloom in your wake.
That's
and it's the best non-Zelda game. Really. If you like, it's better than most of the 3D Zeldas, I think. it's the same formula. I mean, you're going into these dungeons and they have puzzles and you get new powers and you fight a big boss at the end, and then it's got kind of like this more like open world sections in between.
That's why I liked Immortal Phoenix Rising, because
Yeah.
it was just like Breath of the Wild, except just a little bit more fast paced.
Yeah. The combat's snappy. I mean, the aesthetics timeless. You know, it's got that kind of Japanese woodblock watercolor kind of aesthetic. And it's just an awesome game. I just absolutely love it. If you haven't played Okami, please check it out, because it is a beautiful game. It's a masterpiece.
Definitely have to check that out. So, on to the next question. If you were to revive 2 games that were not in the Xbox One, PS4, even like, or Nintendo Switch or Wii U-ish area, like, not that, before then, if you were to revive a game, or 2 games, I mean, what ones would you ask the genie to revive?
So when you say games, are we talking about specific games or game series?
Nope, game.
Just like a remake of a game, like to bring it
Yeah,
back?
like let's
or like a
say you
port
were
of a
like,
game, or-
I want Vice City completely redone. I don't care about GTA 1. I don't care about San Andreas. I just want Vice City completely redone, like something.
So we're
like
talking
that.
about the Resident Evil 2 remaster treatment for a game.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's a tough one, because most
or
of the
more or less a
games-
remake.
Right, yeah. Most games that I wouldn't mind if they, as much as I do love Okami, I wouldn't mind if they and there is an HD version. I wouldn't mind if they touched it up and maybe like reworked it a bit, so maybe the animations were maybe a little bit more fluid, and it's a PlayStation 2 game that they kind of up-resed for the most part, and it still looks great, but maybe that might be one I would be interested in for sure. I'm gonna say also Chrono Trigger, because I want to be able to play that on a current console that's not on like the phone or on Steam.
Okay.
But I have a specific way that I want it
SNES, right?
Yes, I want it done in the HD 2D graphical style for something like Octopath Traveler or Project Triangle Strategy.
Okay.
Have you played either of those games?
No.
Octopath?
Oh, Octopath? I downloaded it, but I haven't played it yet.
Okay, yeah. So if you look at that, and they're actually redoing Dragon Quest III right now in that style.
Okay.
But it's really sharp. Like the camera, like the focus, it like focuses in on something, and like everything else kind of like fades out and it blurs everything in the background. But it's just so sharp and crisp, and yet it's still. I love pixel art, so I don't want like a 3D. I don't want. When you're talking about a game like Chrono Trigger, it really stands out because of Akira Toriyama's art. Mr. Dragon Ball Z himself. I don't want Chrono to look like
R.I.P. Frieza.
or I don't want Chrono to look like Noctis from Final Fantasy. That looks nothing like Akira Toriyama's art. So it's got to maintain that kind of aesthetic. So I think that HD 2D graphical style still kind of retains the classic flavor, but it maybe brings it into a little bit more sharp contrast, and I think it would look really good.
All right. So those are the 2 games that you would revive.
I think so.
Fantastic, and really good reasons behind it. I like how you gave a really good description on why for each of those.
Can I throw out a bonus answer?
Sure. Yeah. Go
So
ahead.
another classic Capcom franchise, long dead and forgotten, Breath of Fire. It was an old SNES RPG. There's actually been a bunch of them. 1 and 2 were on SNES. 3 and 4 were on PS1, and then there was Dragon Quarter on PS2. I would love a reboot of Breath of Fire. So I think it's just kind of like a really cool classic JRPG series. It's kind of underserved, and I think that you could redo that almost like a Final Fantasy VII remake, And it's got a really cool party system where you can combine party members to make new party members. You like fuse them together. You like use like a Dragon Ball Z fusion, and you can create like brand new characters that are all like OP and buffed up.
That's super dope.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
It's like it's like you're just Majin Booing everybody.
pretty much, yeah. And your main character, he comes from the Dragon Clan, and you know, eventually he learns to turn into different dragons, so he can.
Of course, it's the Dragon Clan.
Metamorphosize into these like super powerful dragon versions of himself, just obliterate enemies on screen. It's cool. I want more Breath of Fire.
When you beat the game, do 7 balls just go off into the distance?
No, sadly not. Sadly not. The Dragon Ball ties kind of end there, but. Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. All turn into stone. But all right, so nice little bonus right there. Now here's a little bit of a darker question. What frustrates you about gaming? And it can be anything, like literally anything.
The fandom.
Fandom? Okay.
Yeah.
What about?
Yeah, honestly, it really frustrates me how kind of ungrateful people are in the video game community. We have this amazing medium, and people just like to shit all over everything. And apologies for the curse, by the way.
That's fine. You didn't see. You might not have seen my last episode with my last person. So you're very nice compared to him.
All right. But yeah, I just feel like, you know, people are so toxic, and there's so much hate out there, and if there's anything at all that people, you know, view in a negative light before they've even really played the game or experienced the game, they just, you know, throw a tantrum online, and it's like
try to ruin people's day.
Yeah, or intentionally they do. You know, somebody will be like, "Oh man, I'm so excited for this," and somebody else is like, "That's trash. That's garbage. That's terrible. I hate it."
Zoom in 500 times or 1,000 times on a photo just to like point something out that none of the base cares about.
Yeah, it's ridiculous and stupid. And actually, on our show, we kind of like mock that a little bit. We have what we call dumb gaming tweets. So every once in a while,
that sounds fun.
We'll call out some, you know, tweet that somebody throws out there that, you know, happens to catch a little bit of infamy, just to kind of like shout it out. Hey, this is dumb. Don't act like this. Don't be like this.
Yeah.
Games are fun. They're supposed to be fun. Stop raining on people's parades.
Yeah, stop trying to ruin people's experience, man.
Stop crapping on everything, you know? Just enjoy it. And you know what? If you don't like it, you don't have to sound off on it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just go. There's 10 billion video games out there. Go play something you like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Stop spending so much time being worried about something that you claim to hate. It's really weird. It is really weird.
It's so negative and frustrating and draining to have to listen to that all the time online, especially if you're on gaming Twitter, which I am. And it, you know, as much as I love Twitter and I love hanging out, talking games with people, there's so much negativity and toxicity on that site, and I just don't understand it.
Oh yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I've got like into people's funnels before and ended up like speaking my truth, and then like I'd see it like a day or two later, and I'd be like, God dang it, like they got me. They got me.
They end up sucking you in, you know?
Yeah, so like that was another one of the big reasons I started this show, is just because, man, I was like, man, I want something more positive to look forward to. I don't want to open up Twitter and be reading garbage. I want to be able to like promote good things and talk about good things and meet dope people, and you know, like I want to use a space for what it's meant for, which I think a lot of people forget.
Yeah.
What social media is meant for, which is connecting with people, learning about people, having a good time. It's not to just rain on everybody's parade and you big strong person and they weak, silly and dumb. Like it's I mean, you see that fight constantly, and it's exhausting, and I mean, I can just go off on it all day, but
I'm sure you can.
Moving
but
on.
As can I, but let's not dwell on that.
Yeah,
That's
let's
enough of
keep it
that.
positive. Let's keep it positive. So, anyways, good answer for that. What is your? This is the first time me asking this question.
Okay.
What is your dream come true in the gaming community?
Ooh, my dream come true?
Yeah, like if you were to say, man, this is just insane. I don't care what it is.
Oh, bringing back the dream team to bring back the Chrono franchise. So, I mean, we sort of talked about it already, and like, what would you bring back? Like, yeah, I would bring back Chrono Trigger, but I don't truly, that's not like my biggest desire is like a remake of Chrono Trigger. I think that game is great as it is, and I absolutely adore Chrono Cross as well. A lot of people don't like that game. It was my first PlayStation game. First one ever. It's really the reason I went out and bought a PlayStation. I was like, oh, there's a new Chrono game. I'm gonna go get it, and I loved it. But I want a third game in that franchise. I would want all the people that worked on the original to come back and make a new entry, either something that kind of bridges the gap, in between, or an all new like sequel to Cross. I would absolutely like flip out if that happened.
That's what you would say. Like, that is the thing that you want.
That's the thing that I want. Absolutely. Give
That's
it to
awesome. I love your answer because I don't think very many people would replicate that answer. So I love the originality behind that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
bonus
awesome.
answer. Bloodborne 2.
Okay. Oh man. Is that something that a lot of people are thinking, like Blue Box is like? I mean, is that what everybody's guessing is going to work on it?
I don't think
Blue
so.
Box, or
I don't think so. I think that was
what direction
more of
do you think that's going?
The Blue Box thing?
No, the Bloodborne.
Oh.
Now, I don't want to get into controversies right now. I
yeah,
just want to ask
you're-
what you think Bloodborne's going to be.
Are you
getting
talking
made by.
about Blue Point?
Yeah, Blue Point. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, it very well could be.
Blue Box
I'm not
is Blue Box is. Yikes! I don't want to talk about that. They're having trouble right now.
You don't need to dig into that oyster. So
Don't come here for that.
yeah, I mean, it very well could be, because I think they said that they were working on something new. No, I think they just said it was something original. So that could mean that they could be jumping into Bloodborne, like new Bloodborne content, like a sequel. To be honest, I have no idea. It seems like there's a lot of scuttlebutt going around about that, and about that they could potentially be working on a Bloodborne sequel. I think it's going to happen at some point. I just don't know when. In the meantime, man, they got to get that 60 frame per second patch out so people can play it on PlayStation 5, because I mean, Bloodborne, it holds up at 30 frames very well, but man, it would just breathe whole new life into that game if they finally put that patch out.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're waiting for.
Shift it into the next gear.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That would be really cool. All right, so one of the last questions is, what do you enjoy doing outside of gaming?
I watch a fair bit of anime.
What one are you watching currently?
I used to watch way more. I'm trying to finish up the second season of Dr. Stone right now.
Okay. I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I have a friend of mine was like, hey, you really need to watch this. And I'm like, it doesn't really look up my alley. And it's taken me a really long time, but I finally finished season 1. And I was like, yeah, he was right. It's worth it. It's like a science-based show where like the whole world got turned to stone. And then like 3,000 years later, one guy wakes up and he's trying to revive the world through science. He's like this super scientist.
Okay.
Of course, he's a high school kid too, because
of anime.
Because there are no anime characters that aren't in high school. Right. But I watched another one I really loved earlier this year was Jujutsu Kaisen. That was a great show. I need to catch up on Attack on Titan also. I've been putting off season 4, kind of waiting for the finale to hit this winter, and I think it's coming pretty soon. So
do you like action, like beat 'em up kind of anime?
Mostly, yeah. That's
Okay.
mostly what I do.
Have you seen Black Clover?
I have seen part of Black Clover. Yeah.
Black Clover is my current jam.
Okay.
Absolutely loving that show.
Nice.
Just the whole there's a lot of assholes in that show, and I just love that. I don't know, there's just something about asshole characters
Yeah.
that are still on the good side, or just like Vegeta. Like, I mean, you see. You see what I changed in my gamer?
I saw it, yeah.
Thing.
I
I
saw
changed
it,
it to Vegeta, and it's just because that I feel like that's me. I'm an asshole, but I love you.
you don't seem that asshole-ish.
I mean,
you seem like a pretty awesome guy. So.
Sure, I guess.
I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
no.
more of a Trunks dude. Trunks is my DBZ dude.
I remember when he first showed up, bro, and chopped up Frieza.
Yeah,
Sushi'd
and
his
then
ass.
and then Goku showed up, and he whipped out his sword, and he was like blocking his sword with his finger.
Yeah.
And that was
insane.
cool. That was cool.
I remember being a little kid and trying to mimic the hand gestures that he did, and he was just like,
Yeah.
and then he stopped right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super corny, but yeah, that's what I used to do when I was really little, right before like football practice when I was like 11.
You're at
Oh,
football. You're just like going.
Yeah. Yep. I got my eye on you. Instant transmission. Your ass is a sack today.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
Back to the question. So outside of like I've got 2 little kids at home, so they take up a huge portion of my time. So kind of like stuff late at night that I can do is usually what I tend to do. I do a little bit of I enjoy reading. Like mostly high fantasy, sometimes some sci-fi. But one other sort of interesting thing that I do is back in 2011, back in the old days, a little game called Skyrim came out, and I got super into Skyrim, and I went the stealth archer route, and I was so into archery in that game that I decided, hey, I'm gonna try my hand at archery in real life. So I went out and I got a compound bow, and started practicing archery. So I haven't done it in quite a while, but I do enjoy every once in a while going out to the range and just putting some arrows into some targets. It's pretty fun.
Releasing some pressure.
Exactly.
Yep, I feel you. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. It's really dope that a video game made you do that. That's weird. It's crazy how that balances.
Have you ever tried to learn something because you got interested in it through a game?
Let's see. I mean that was. I really stuck around playing football because I loved college football games, and it just immersed me in being more and more part of that community. Mm-hmm. And my brother played for Notre Dame as a football player, so I used to play because he's 13 years older than me. So I used to play video games as like a young child because when I was 5 years old, he was 18. He was going to Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. I used to purchase the video games that he was in, and I used to try to play as his character every single time.
Was your brother actually in
yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day because I'm not super into sports games, and I haven't really ever played like Madden or any of the kind of like older games. So I wasn't sure like with the college sports games if they actually put the players into those games.
They put the likenesses in like in those old games because they can't do that now. That's what the whole that's why they don't have NCAA football anymore or basketball and stuff like that, is because they're college players. They can't be paid or whatever. Yeah. I mean, you look at and see the amount of work they do. It's like maybe not like directly paid, but I feel like you should give them a little something because they're busting their ass everywhere. But anyways, that's a whole different conversation.
But your brother was actually at the time there were actual like player names and stuff. And your brother was in.
No, there weren't names. They couldn't do that because of legal reasons. They just have their number and their likeness. In the game. So like what their tendencies were, what spot in the field they were in. So like my brother was a cornerback, so I played as him on defense all the time. And like I always got burnt. I made him look terrible. But
like hey, guess what you did today?
Yeah. Guess who the quarterback
how-
was throwing to?
Guess how messed up you got today, you know?
Yeah, that wide receiver burnt you the entire game. Sorry, dog. Yeah,
you got red flag like 7 times. You got kicked out.
yeah, for sure. He's targeting. But yeah, man. So I mean, I'm not sure if I have anything that I can think off the top of my head that like made me do something outside of gaming. But there is a lot of different aspects of my life that I can attribute to gaming and be like, man, like this kind of opened my eyes into looking into this kind of genre of like magazines or books or anime, like getting into watching TV show anime being a little kid, and then they come out with like Naruto video games and stuff like that, and it's just like, man, I get to put this stuff together. So I can't remember anything off the top of my head that made me go into like something like archery, like you did with what was the game?
Skyrim.
Skyrim. But there are some altering moments where gaming and me were just like playing as my brother. I mean, that's weird. To me, I thought that was weird.
Got to be a pretty unique thing. Yeah.
For sure. But the very last thing I'm going to ask you to do, real quick, and you can take a moment. What is your way of describing gaming in general in 3 words? Describe gaming in 3 words.
Okay. Fun, obviously. Creative and artful. I think that
That's 4 words.
Fun, creative, and artful. Because of and?
Yeah. Like use it as a phrase. Like
fun,
3
creative,
words.
artful. Fun, creative, artful.
All right, cool. That'll work. Fun, creative, artful is his 3 words to describe gaming. I like it. It works out. He had to subtract and. I was a stickler on that.
Yeah, you were very, very harsh with that rule.
What the hell? That's 4 words. Damn it! What are you doing? But anyways, definitely like and subscribe to my man MechaRecca. He's on like you said earlier, he's on Twitter. He's a would you call it founder or host or whatnot?
Yeah, just a co-founder of Great Games Debate.
Great Games Debate, yeah. So definitely go check him out. I'm gonna put a link to his YouTube in the description. So if you need quick access to be able to go check out his stuff and whatnot, watch some of those people squirm around on those 20 questions, that would be fire. I know I'm gonna be doing that here shortly. I want to see somebody just cringe and just like screw up and just ask something horrible. Because I'm sure that's in there where somebody is just like way off.
Yeah, I think if you listen to the latest episode or hang on, I'll tell you really quickly. There was an episode where the picture's got a picture of Kazuma Kiryu from Yakuza, like with a thought bubble, and like the luminary from Dragon Quest XI, and a monster from Monster Hunter. I don't remember which episode it is, but if you listen to one of those, it's got some really, really good 20 questions games at the end.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out here and checking out my show. This is Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo. And thank you again from my special guest today, MechaRecca.
No, thank you. This was a great time. I absolutely loved coming on here and just hanging out and chatting games. This is super fun. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man. Gaming is a family. It has nothing to do with what console you're on. Or if you enjoy gaming, I want to hear it. I want to hear from you. I mean, it's that simple. I'm not trying to gatekeep and talk to certain types of people. I want to talk to everybody. I want to see what you're thinking. But just keep that to those of you that are thinking about possibly coming on the show. Remember, it's all positivity here. We're not trying to bring any of that
That's right.
negative stuff. And I'm not here to put you in a bad spot. So, like I said, thank you again for coming on. Everybody, have a wonderful evening.